Spreading holiday cheer, the Alaska National Guard has been busy delivering gifts the last few months to Alaskan villages.
Yeah, it flew Santa, Mrs. Claus, and some elves to St. Mary's earlier this month. Not to mention a stop in Savoonga in October. The name of the effort may sound familiar. Operation Santa Claus, part of the Guard's yearly community relations and support program. So how did it all get started? Laurel Downing Bill, author of the Aunt Phil's Trunk Alaskan History series, joins us on the couch for some story time with Aunt Phil. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how long exactly has this been going on for?
Oh my goodness, the Alaska Air National Guard has been bringing smiles to faces from Savoonga to Ruby to Barrow for 60 years.
Wow.
60.
Now, Operation Santa Claus got started in 1956. Now, the Guard received an urgent request from St. Mary's Mission that they needed gifts for their children.
And how did the Guard respond to that request?
Oh my gosh, they heeded the call. Yeah, they really wanted to help out this little Yupik Eskimo village in southwest Alaska. And so they asked our Anchorage residents if they would donate new and used gifts. And they were absolutely overwhelmed by the response they received from the community.
So 1956, remote Alaska, Santa stops by. I mean, this has to be, I don't know, kind of mind-blowing for some of the kids. How did they respond to that visit?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of the children had never seen Santa Claus in person before.
Wow.
And so some of them eagerly climbed up into his lap and whispered their wishes into his ear, and then others were a little bit too shy and didn't quite know what to make of the jolly man in red costume. But Santa handed out the presents, and they had some snacks, and then sat back and watched while the village basketball team beat the Air Guard All-Stars.
Wow.
They deliver presents and then get beat in a game of basketball. How about that?
Right.
Yeah. Well, the effort would continue for a few decades, and then it spread to some other locations?
Yeah, though they started out with a C-123, and it became such a popular program that in the 80s, 90s, you had a merge with the Air and the Army National Guard merged together, and then also with help from the Salvation Army. And so, yeah, gosh, it just has become a really great program.
So in all of those years, how many kids do you think have been touched by this? It's an amazing program to go through all of that.
Tens of thousands of children have been helped by this. And as I said, Santa traded in his C-123 a little bit later then and went with a Hercules 130. And that bigger plane now has allowed Santa to take along Mrs. Claus as well as some elves to help distribute the packages. And then sometimes even a Black Hawk helicopter goes along to help deliver the gifts to the youth and the elders in the villages.
Well, we saw sleighs and sled dogs, but what about the reindeer?
Oh, well, gosh, you know, there was a rumor going around that the reindeer were really jealous that they weren't going on all these grand adventures. Right. But personally, I think those reindeer are staying pretty busy eating all the lichen they can and taking great naps because, you know, they have to have a lot of energy to haul that big guy in that sleigh around the world come Christmas Eve.
Sure do.
I'm sure they don't mind a rest every now and then. They can let the big planes take them out for a bit, and they can relax. They've got a big night coming up, kids, right? Right? Hope you've been good.